everyone, so I'm back again with another mini paranormal vlog for you all. So this weekend I went away to Warwick and Stratford with my parents and my boyfriend. We stayed in Warwick in a small B&B in the town, and we ended up walking around the town. It's quite small, just to explore, and we came across quite a few antiques shops. So the first little tiny paranormal experience I had, we were in an antique shop. Well, I was in an antique shop with my mum, and we'd just gone and we were kind of exploring, and it was a really big shop with kind of different sections that different people were manning. You know, you can rent out little sections of the shop to sell your stuff. And we were going round, we were the only ones in there. It was very quiet. Some of the staff were just at the front of the store and we were working our way back. And we came to one small section of the store which to me felt very dark and quite oppressive. And as you know, like if you've watched some of my other videos, my mum's very kind of in tune with stuff, and she can sense and kind of feel kind of positive, negative energies from things that she picks up sometimes. But we were in this one section and it was very dark and very uncomfortable for me as well, and I just I got a sense of feeling really sick and kind of like hot, just like generally unwell. And my mum wasn't feeling too great either. And all that there was in this little section was kind of there was a really old antique suitcase, kind of like, it looked like kind of crocodile skin suitcase. It was like really dark brown and it was kind of falling apart a bit, and I did not want to touch anything in that small section. And we'd been through the shop, you know, picking up bits of jewellery, and there's like little display cabinets everywhere and stuff. But this one small section in like the middle of the shop was just, I don't know, I just got a really negative feeling from it, and so did my mum. And so there was, you know, there was a couple of things like hats, and there were a couple of furs in there, which I really do not like anyway. I really don't agree with fur. And I know it was, you know, another time back in the day and they are antiques, but I personally just, they freak me out. So we really did not want to touch anything in this section. There was a few like designer pairs of shoes and a couple of small handbags and some hats as well. And just for some reason, that I don't know where it was coming from, just that one little bit of the shop, we felt really uncomfortable, really sick. And as soon as we just stepped out, just away from something in that area, we felt so much better. And I don't know, the air just felt clearer and brighter. So I'm not too sure what that was. I think there was, I don't know, I personally think that kind of things that you've owned or things that are personal to you can kind of reflect you. Like you can leave imprints and like emotions and things from your personal items if you've been kind of keeping them close to you. So something in that little section was a bit off, and I really didn't want to be there. The rest of the shop was fine. My mum picked up a few rosaries, like old antique rosaries, to see if she could get anything from them. There was one in particular, because I quite like rosaries. I do have one. I'm not very religious, but I do like them. I have one that it's new. I don't think I would buy an antique one. I don't know, I was trying to explain this to my mum, just because I think a rosary would be very personal to someone, and they'd be kind of, you know, like when she held it, she said this one rosary in particular, she said it felt heavy, really heavy, like kind of had the weight of the world in it. And I get that, because someone would be using a rosary for kind of prayers, you know, and there's some emotion going into that, because it's what it's used for. So I don't personally think I would buy an antique one or a second-hand one, just because something like that is quite personal, and I think that there would be some kind of emotion and imprint left on that object, definitely. So we were in another antique shop as well, with everyone else, and there was this one section in particular. We were kind of looking around. There's some really interesting things, including, for some strange reason, half a human skull in a glass dome. It was missing its kind of bottom half, so it was like missing its jawbone, and you know, some of the front of it had been smashed in a bit, so you could see all like the kind of the sinus cavities and stuff. It was very interesting. It had come from the British Civil War period, so I'm not great with dates. I'm not too sure how old it was. It did look very old, and I don't know if I've ever... No, I have seen a human skull before. I don't think I've ever seen one for sale before. It was about just under £400. But that was very interesting. I'm not too sure what they had. It's just like a random human skull in the antique shop. But anyway, there was this one bit of... It was another antique shop. It was huge. There was so much to see. There was like giant teddy bears in there, like bigger than me. And everything. Really interesting. We're going around having a look at everything. And there was this one section where there was a pile of walking sticks, and me and my dad were kind of picking up the walking sticks, having a look at them and trying them out and stuff. And my mum just called me over because there was like a framed photograph that she wanted me to look at. And as I went to walk away, it felt like my shoelace was caught on the ground, or it felt like there was like maybe some string attached to the bottom of my foot, attached to the floor, and I lifted up my foot and it felt like there was something caught on it, or like maybe I'd stepped in like gum, and the gum had stretched and was kind of pulling me backwards. It was really strange, and I kind of looked down at my foot and was shaking it, like, what? Like, I thought my foot was caught on something, and there was nothing there. And I was like, okay. It was just a really strange feeling. It wasn't like a faint kind of subtle feeling either. It felt like my shoe, or like maybe the bottom of my shoe or something was caught on the floor. And there's nothing there. The carpet wasn't stuck to my foot or anything. My shoelace was fine, because I looked down at my shoe and I was like, what? This feels really strange. And I went over to my mum and I said, like, there's something. They're like, what was that about? I said, that was just a really weird feeling. And she said, like, did it feel like your foot was caught on something, or your leg was caught on something on the floor? And I was like, yeah. It felt like there was some kind of string attached to my foot or my leg or something, and it was attached to the floor, like trying to pull me back. And she said, yeah, no, I got that earlier when she was walking around. So that's really weird. So that was just in one space in the antique shop. That was a bit weird as well. And I'm obviously not claiming for certain any of these incidences were paranormal. Are just unexplained in a way. Just from, like, the feelings you get, they're not normal. Something doesn't feel right. Just feels a bit off. That to me, I probably would might palm that off to being paranormal. Another thing we went to Warwick Castle, which is great. They have like loads of shows on. They have like falconry, and they have jousting, which is great. They have a trebuchet, which is a medieval kind of, it's not a catapult, but yeah, Google trebuchet, or better still, maybe Google or YouTube video of it's a Warwick Castle trebuchet show, because they do have, I'm pretty sure it's an original trebuchet, because man powered, it was like kind of a whole new weapon back in the day, and it kind of I can't explain it, you're gonna have to look it up, but they fire like a huge flaming rock from it that kind of catapults over, that flies through the air, which is really good actually. It's really impressive. And they had loads of things for kids there. They had like night school where they got to like beat up wooden poles with swords and everything like that. Yeah, the jousting was really good as well. And they had, well, obviously you can go inside the castle and they do like events and weddings and everything inside the castle, which is really, really impressive. There's so much to see and do around the castle. So at one point I was on my own. It's a bit embarrassing really. My parents and my boyfriend went into the castle dungeons. I decided not to go in the end because I do kind of suffer with anxiety, and the thought of kind of being in the dark and in a confined space was kind of making me panic somewhat, even though I love anything to do with kind of horror, gore, that kind of history would have been amazing, but I just wasn't feeling up to it on the day. So they went, and I wandered around the castle on my own, and which was really interesting. They have it all set up. They have some like original furniture and stuff. They have I can't remember which queen it was, but they actually have her deathbed there, which was really impressive and kind of creepy. Just want to say, nothing paranormal happened to me in the castle, but it was really interesting. Some parts were really creepy. I did go upstairs to like servants' quarters, and they have waxworks there, which can take you off guard if you go around the corner and there's a waxwork, and they are really good. And there was a few instances where I thought they were real. Someone was there, well, what's that man doing? And oh no, it's a waxwork. So there was a couple of times I was on my own in certain rooms, and I just thought it would be an amazing place to go around in the dark, maybe doing a little bit of ghost hunting. I don't think they do that, but when I went, there was advertisements for a Halloween, like kind of a big Halloween half-term thing that they do, which I would be really, really interested in going, because I'm not too sure what they do, but the castle stays open till late, so you get to go around the grounds and the castle in the dark, which would be fantastic. I did bump into a tour guide that was going around in the castle. There's so many portraits of people that have lived there before. Henry VIII lived there, and he was like a notoriously known for kind of letting the castle go into bad condition. He didn't look after the castle very well at all. There's like a big waxwork of him like in the naughty corner, they say, because he didn't look after the castle at all. But anyway, there was a portrait. I bumped into a tour guide. I cannot for the life of me remember who the portrait was of. My mum is very good at her history, especially English history. She's taken a huge interest in English history for years, and she knows an awful lot. She's especially interested in Henry VIII and his wives, and she researches them. She watches every kind of documentary going, reads books, researches online. So I should have asked her to remember me, who this guy was in the painting. But the it was obviously someone important, someone lived there, someone royal. There was tour guides was saying that apparently the gentleman in the picture, if you knock on the wall 3 times, he will knock back. And he knocked on the wall, but nothing happened. But it was very busy and very noisy in there. Maybe if you did it in the night or something. But he did say the staff there, like the history team, they were like cleaning the armour, you know, taking care of the place in general. He said they have a ton of ghost stories from the castle. There's been ghost stories from that castle for years and years and years. There's so many. I would have loved to ask some of the staff if they had any ghost stories, any paranormal goings on within the castle. Obviously they work out of hours and go to parts of the castle that aren't open to the public. So I would have absolutely loved to sit down and with some of the staff who work there, some of the history team, and ask them some questions and to hear some of their stories. But they do Halloween. They if you go on my Instagram, I put a picture up of me standing with some scarecrows with pumpkin heads that they had up advertising their Halloween half-term spectacular. I would love to go back at Halloween and stay after dark and walk around the grounds. The grounds are huge, there's so much going on, and especially walk around the castle in the night time. That would be amazing. They must have some kind of tours going around, some kind of haunted tours, possibly telling you some more ghost stories, which I would absolutely love. So hopefully maybe in a couple of years or something I'll go back. I know my boyfriend will be up for that as well. Hopefully can go stay again, because it's a really nice town. I'd love to go back. So before I move on to the next small paranormal story, I just wanted to show you something that I bought in Warwick on the market, because they had a market on Saturday just outside our B&B, which is kind of in the town square. So they had fruit and vegetables, everything, and we came across a couple of jewellery market stalls which were really interesting. They had some antique stuff, and I got this ring. The sun is shining. I'm sorry if it won't focus. Hopefully it will. So this ring is sterling silver. Oh god, the sun's come out now, sorry. Sterling silver, really nice kind of details and patterns on it, and the stone in the middle is actually meteorite, which I thought was really, really interesting and awesome, because I saw it at first, I thought it might be like a gemstone or some kind of rock or mineral or something, and she said it was meteorite, and she had another ring where she had a tiny bit of meteorite and with 2 other gemstones, which was really nice. But I really, really liked this one just because of all the detail. My camera's not going to focus because the sun's shining really bright. All the detail on it. There was only this one. I got it for £12 actually, which was a bargain. She said it was £13.50, but I only had £12, so she took that, which was really nice of her. I'm not too sure where she got it, but she did say the meteorite was from Mexico, so I'm assuming it landed in Mexico. She told me the Spanish name for the meteorite, but I can't remember because it was very long, and I'm very bad at pronunciation. So yeah, it came in a small size. My fingers are kind of big anyway, but it does fit on my little finger, but I really like the look of it, and I've been wearing it ever since. Really pretty. Anyway, just in the time's moving on yet again, so I'll just tell you a couple of other things that have happened to me here. So a couple of maybe weeks ago, I was lying in bed on my own. It was the morning, my boyfriend had just got up and I was just about to as well. I'd previously, the night before, had a dream about cats, and recently I've been dreaming about my old cat Belle, which in a previous video I have mentioned I've felt a cat jump up on the bed. Not here, that was in a different house. So I was lying in bed, I was lying on my front. Here's my bed, by the way, behind me. I was lying on my front. I was fully awake. I was just, you know, head down, just kind of staring at the wall. And I felt, yet again, a cat jump up onto the bed, run across my legs and jump down. I even heard it. And I jumped up and I thought one of the cats has got up. And I was looking around the room, looked upstairs, and it had just happened, and I jumped up and I looked and there was no cat. And we've even got a lock downstairs on the door because the door doesn't shut properly, and the cats kept opening it and coming upstairs, and we wanted to stop them because we've been having the bathroom window open recently because it's been so hot and we don't want them to keep trying to jump up on the open window. So the door was still locked, no cats, nothing. I was really confused. It didn't scare me though because it has happened on and off. So I was like, oh, okay. Another kind of ghost cat related incident. Also, another thing that has happened to me recently is when I'm kind of drifting off to sleep. In my previous videos I have said that I do hear stuff while I'm kind of drifting off, or it's kind of quiet and I'm relaxed. I do hear things like right beside my ear, like people talking or shouting or something. It always makes me jump and I can never understand what they're saying, or it doesn't really make too much sense. But recently if I've been sleeping and I normally kind of have my hands up, kind of resting on the bed while I sleep, I've been feeling kind of someone, it feels like they've been kind of touching my hand, like quite hard as well, not like soft brushing, like kind of touching or kind of holding my hand, and then I kind of open my eyes and the feeling will be gone. Which is really strange, and my mum's been saying, you know, maybe perhaps before you open your eyes you ask who it is or what they want. But that's hard though, when something makes you jump, if someone or something is actually kind of physically kind of touching you, it's hard not to open your eyes and jump, you know. So I'm not too sure what that's about. I don't know if it's because recently I have been a bit more relaxed within myself, feeling just a bit more settled in about life in general, that things have started to pick up again. I'm not too sure. Anyway, so I'm going to round that off now. I do have a few other paranormal stories that have happened to me in this house, but I'm going to save that for another video because there are a couple of things and probably get too long. So I just want to say thanks again so much for watching, anyone that has and made it through this whole video, because yet again it's come up to 25 minutes long. Clearly I can't help myself from talking so much. So yes, thank you so much again for watching. I will be back with more paranormal videos soon. As usual, I will put my Instagram and Twitter links down below, so you can go check me out there if you want. And thanks again to everyone that has been following me on Instagram and Twitter recently. Thank you for all your support, it means so much. So yeah, I will see you soon in another video. So take care everyone, bye.